And welcome back, fellow adventurers, to Let's Play Dragon Age 2. We are back in the Hawke estate, and we'll be exploring this area in just a moment. Before we get going, I just want to let you guys know that I've been feeling a bit under the weather this past week, so if my voice sounds a bit weird, then that's why, and I just want to apologize up front. As you might imagine, for any kind of clearing my throat or coughing or sneezing that might happen. If it's particularly bad, I'll try to edit it out, but just a little forewarning there. So, let's make our way around this estate and see if there's anything to be seen. We have a window outlook over the Hightown district. Ah, there we go.
I should get some curtains.
Well, do those count? I guess maybe those are draperies. I don't know the difference. It's probably a nice view, though. I mean, it looks like one anyway. It's a bit narrow, but you know. This is where we just were earlier on in the cutscene. This is our room. Much nicer than before.
I think I'll let Sandal empty that.
It's one of the few, usually especially when it comes to high fantasy, they don't tend to pay much attention to, let's say, the more scatological aspects of just everyday human life. But there you go. At least there's a nod to it just there, When you gotta go, you gotta go, even in a world filled with dragons and magic.
Poor Prince. I told him to stay off the bed.
Oh, the dog's been wandering. A chest here.
Isabella seemed disappointed that she didn't find anything worth gossiping about. Snoop.
Ah, Isabella must have come in here and picked open that lock.
What's this? Oh, Anders' manifesto. Again.
And the mages shall rise. We have a chest. We have finery. I believe that is officially, I think that's the clothing that we're wearing, I think. I believe so. I'll check that out a little bit later, but I believe that's if you want to dress like this when you're wandering around town, you can put that on, and it'll be like you're walking around like in civilian Hightown clothes, which is a nice little option if you're not planning to immediately rush off to a battle or something like that. We have a shield, the Amel shield here.
Didn't I see this crest hanging somewhere in the Viscount's keep?
Well, that would make sense if the keep was holding artifacts from some of the past noble families. Balcony examine? Yeah.
Handprints? Was someone swinging on the chandelier? Sandal.
Now that would be an interesting sight to see. And in fact, if you romance Meryl, then she will accuse Meryl of swinging on the chandeliers instead of
That's
Sandal.
Mother's room. I shouldn't intrude.
Okay, fair enough. Alright, so that's the full upstairs. Oh, we have the banister here.
Is that... Isabella? Who carves that into a stairwell?
And Isabella's been wandering all over this place, apparently unseen and just leaving her traces behind. There's a door here. This will take us to kind of the side living area.
I'm glad Bethany always writes.
And that's good to know that as strict as the circle is, they still allow the mages to contact their family members. I mean, with the reputation that Knight Commander Meredith has, you think that maybe would have been not allowed, but apparently it still is.
Fenris said Daenerys left this at the mansion.
Alcohol? One would think. Fenris likes his spirits.
Its eyes follow me around the room. Creepy.
Yeah, you wonder who bought that then. It looks like some kind of weird little idol or chicken deity or something. It's really bizarre. So this is where the DLC content has moved if you choose not to use it during the first act. And so it'll be up here the rest of the game. And we will be doing one of these for Act 2. The other one will be saved for Act 3.
The Pursuit of Knowledge by Brother Genitivi. Varric recommended this book, didn't he?
And we've been certainly seeing his writings all over the place. The guy was prolific, if a bit eccentric. But those often go together. Let's see, anything out in the annex? Yes.
It's on the desk. That's where I'll put messages which come while you're out.
Indeed. So, Bodan is our new kind of butler, so to speak. Let's examine this bench here.
Oh, that dog. Well, maybe chew marks add character to the piece.
And since this is the antechamber, I'm assuming that these benches here are like officially where messengers and servants and from other households would sit and wait until they were addressed by someone of this household. Very formal setup here. You have the Thetis calendar. For most good folk, the details of our calendar have little purpose. It is useful only for telling them when the summer day festival will be held, when the snows are expected to begin, and when the harvest must be complete. The naming of the years are a matter for historians and taxmen, and few, if pressed, could even tell you the reason that our current age is named after dragons. It is 930 Dragon Age, the 30th year of the 9th age since the crowning of the Chantry's first divine. Each age is exactly 100 years, with the next age's name chosen in the 99th year. The scholars in Val Royeaux advise the Chantry of portents seen in that 99th year, and the Chantry authorities pore over the research for months before the divine announces the name of the imminent age. The name is said to be an omen of what is to come, of what people of Thetis will face for the next 100 years. The current age was not meant to be the Dragon Age. Throughout the last months of the Blessed Age, the Chantry was preparing to declare the Sun Age, named for the symbol of the Elysian Empire, which at that time sprawled over much of the south of Thetis and controlled both Ferelden and what is now Navarra. It was to be a celebration of Elysian imperial glory. But as the rebellion in Ferelden reached a head and the Battle of Riverdane was about to begin, a peculiar event occurred, a rampage, the rising of a dreaded high dragon. Dragons had been thought practically extinct since the days of the Navarran dragon hunts, and they say that to see this great beast rise from the frostbacks was both majestic and terrifying. As the rampage began, and the high dragon decimated the countryside in its search for food, the elderly divine Faustine II abruptly declared the Dragon Age. Some say the divine was declaring support for Orlais in the battle against Ferelden, since the dragon is an element of the Dufail family heraldry of King Megrin, the so-called usurper king of Ferelden. Be that as it may, the high dragon's rampage turned towards the Elysian side of the Frostback Mountains, killing hundreds and sending thousands more fleeing to the northern coast. The Ferelden rebels won the Battle of Riverdane, ultimately securing their independence. Many thus think that the Dragon Age will come to represent a time of violent and dramatic change for all of Thetis. It remains to be seen. Again, this is writings from Brother Genitivi. So it takes you to get to the second act to actually see this information, but you can see now how you can read these dates. So the first number is the number of the age. The second number is the year, and then the age is actually named. Before I saw that information, I always thought that the first number was the day and the second number was the year, but it turns out that's not the case. Which is a little strange because when you think about a date, you think that you're going to say what day it is, and as well as what year. but for some reason they don't do that here. Okay, all the rest of this stuff is for potions and enchantments, except for this part here. The Adventures of the Black Fox. Let's see. Born Lord Remy Vascal in 863 Blessed, the Black Fox was a dashing thief and rogue who went on to inspire so many tales of his exploits that it is nearly impossible to determine today which are true and which are merely fabricated legend. Despite coming from nobility, he has become something of a hero of the common people. So we got Robin Hood here. His initial exploits involved ridiculing the tyrannical and powerful Lord of Valchavine. Wearing a mask, he would appear in public and disrupt the Lord's plans to the point that the Lord angrily put a huge bounty on the life of this cunning fox, which is the origin of the nickname, which stuck. That the primary bounty hunter who took the job, Carolus, ended up becoming Remy's lifelong partner in crime, only after nearly killing him several times, is one of the most popular tales told in the taverns today. The story is often exaggerated to make Remy appear initially buffoonish until Carolus becomes so furious at the Black Fox's inexplicable ability to survive that the cunning Remy gains the upper hand, which impresses Carolus so much that the bounty hunter joins him. After years of terrorizing the Lord's men and foiling his tax collectors, a favorite pastime of Remy's according to the Orlesian commoners, Remy was supposedly betrayed by his lover Servana de Montfort, something like that. In some versions of the tale, a mage of the circle, no less, and captured. After more than a year of torture, Remy was rescued from prison by his compatriots, including a repentant Servana, and together they escaped Orlais. In this period of Remy's adventures, he appears almost everywhere in Thedas. As his legend grew, more innkeepers and merchants were happy to claim that the Black Fox had visited their village or establishment and performed some legendary feat. If the tales are to be believed, Remy led the Lord's men on a merry chase. He became embroiled in political intrigue in Navarra, was hunted by the crows of Antiva, and then kidnapped by a powerful mage in Teventer. In each situation, Remy escaped death at the last moment, foiled the evildoer, and improved life for the poor and the downtrodden. Then, inevitably, he rejoined his band of adventurers and moved on to the next land. His companions Carolus and Servana, the wise dwarf Bolek, and the tempestuous knight Sir Clementis have each spawned their own individual legends over the years. Stories all agree that at some point the Black Fox disappeared. He and his fellow adventurers voyaged into the heart of the Orlathan forest, seeking the sunken city of the elves, and never returned. Many more are the tales that expand on what ultimately happened to them in that forest, and postulate on how they could someday be rescued. From the Adventures of the Black Fox by Gaston Girault, because no one tells a tale like Gaston. I mean, that almost sounds like you could go ahead and set up another game based on that little synopsis there. Alright, here we have some actual story and quest materials. Let's have a look at this. We have Night Terrors. Greetings. I hope this letter finds you well. I've often thought of you in these past 3 years. Without your kindness, my Fenrir would have been long since sold to slavers. Instead, he has thrived and begun to master his magic. But now his nightmares have caught up with him, and neither the Keeper nor the First Enchanter know how to help. I don't know where else to turn. Please come to my home in the alienage. I will be waiting to speak with you. Thank you again for the compassion you have shown Fenrir in the past. Sincerely yours, Ariani. So something's up with Fenrir. We'll have to check that out later. Last of his line, Hawke. I do not know if you remember me, but you helped me deal with the Carta a few years ago. Given the generally disreputable characters in Kirkwall, I had all but given up hope, and I swore I would reward you properly. Take these coins and the enclosed package. My men and I are preparing to leave Ravain before King Balin's assassins catch up with us again. If the stone favors us, we'll find Khal's Sharok and safety soon. If the Haremont survive this dire time, your name and deeds will be recorded in the memories. With respect, Renville Haremont. So he survived. As far as we know, the Harrowmont line still lives in him, which means, of course, Balin will never be able to quite sleep at night, it seems. And perhaps that's not wholly unjust, given how Balin tends to run things. The Underground Railroad. Many people in this city owe you their lives, and I am one of them. When my friends and I were cornered by Templars, you helped us escape. Over the years, most Starkhaven apostates have been captured, but thanks to the help of many people, I have remained free. You've done so much for the apostates. If you are moved to do more, contact Mistress Selby near the docks. She knows of many ways that you can save more lives. Forever in your debt, Tari of Starkhaven. And given that Hawke's sister has been taken into the circle, I'm going to assume she's going to be a little bit more sympathetic towards the plight of the apostates here who are trying to remain in hiding. So we'll accept this one for now. We have Forbidden Knowledge. Sirrah Hawke. Years past I fell into wickedness and was swept up in the mad abominations of the blood mage Tarone. You spared my life at the Blooming Rose, and for many months I wished you had killed me. But I found the Maker's light in my deepest despair, and I now seek absolution. Tarone wrote many tomes containing dark secrets she learned from the Fade. She protected them with the demons forged into their very bindings. You must find and destroy these tomes, lest others follow her dark path. I wish I could help you, but the Templars never let me leave my cell. I can only send my prayers. Iduna. Well, it looks like she fortunately learned the error of her ways here, not to be preying on people. So, yes, we do not like demons and demonic stuff. So Hawke would certainly be up for destroying tomes containing blood magic. Although I will say that if you go on this quest and this is basically just a find and destroy quest. If you go around this quest and you find these tomes and Meryl is in your party, if you destroy the tomes, you will be able to rack up rivalry with Meryl because she likes, blood magic stuff. If you keep the tomes instead, then you can gain friendship points with her. Alright, and here's a note from Fenrir himself. To Hawke, life with the Dalish hasn't been easy. Keeper Marathari tries her best, but I don't know what else she can do for me. The younger elves won't accept me, and I often hear them whispering behind my back. The elders have more discretion, but I can see it in their eyes. They're afraid of me. I don't know why I'm telling you this. Sometimes it feels like you're the only person I can trust. Your friend, Fenrir. And between the reactions to Fenrir and Meryl, this clan of Dalish elves is awfully skittish. Maybe it's just they've been persecuted and chased, by humans away from places for too long. They're just really paranoid. Feeling inadequate. Flag flying at half-mast. Does your soldier not stand to attention? Does your dwarf shy away from the deep roads? Come to Jorman's apothecary and ask for our special sauce. Our special sauce is infused with the essences of 52 herbs. It's completely natural, completely safe, and absolutely effective. You will never feel the same again. Be the man other men want to be. Be the man you deserve to be. Yay! Junk mail. Actually, I don't remember what happens if you accept this. Maybe we can find the person who's dealing this out and teach them not to scam people. We'll see. From Elren. Messer Hawke, words aren't enough to convey how grateful I am. Thank you for saving my daughter from that monster. When I look at my little girl, I'm reminded of what you did for my family. Leah has found a hero in you. She's become interested in swordplay and combat, and she speaks of joining the guard one day. She seems none the worse for wear. In your debt, Elren. So this is the father of the elven girl we saved from the serial murderer. So that's nice. She seems to be doing okay. She doesn't seem too heavily scarred by the experience. A message from Price. Sirrah, I'm glad to hear that Ethenril took no vengeance on you for helping me. I surely would have died in her service. My sisters are both maids now, and I have proven myself an able shepherd, and have been garnered 2 ewes of my own to start a flock. I heard you made a name for yourself in Kirkwall. My hopes for your continued success. Thank you again. Transcribed by the lady of the house for price. So by letting him and his sisters escape Kirkwall into further inland to the farms, seems like he's been doing well. Okay. A strangely official-looking letter. Dear Sir or Madam, I am Lord Hawke Falk of Starkhaven. I have faith in the Maker and Andraste, his beloved prophet, that I must bring this matter of urgent business to you. Years ago, I served the office of Seneschal to the royal family of Starkhaven. Sadly, they have been deposed, ousted by a foul usurper. I represent His Royal Highness Prince Corbinian. I'm going to go with that. Prince Corbinian Valel, the true heir to the throne, and with your help, Maker willing, we will see him wear the crown of Starkhaven once more. Notice it's not Sebastian Valel, who we met earlier in Act 1. So something's up here. His Highness had a fortune of 11,000 sovereigns locked away in the vaults of the Royal Bank of Antiva. With access to this fortune, he can raise an army to retake the throne, but it is too dangerous for His Highness to simply withdraw the funds himself. This is where we require your assistance and discretion. Oh, I know where this is going. Simply send me the details of an open bank account in Kirkwall. Excuse me. And I will arrange that the funds are transferred to you. My king will then contact you to retrieve his fortune, leaving you with a hefty reward. I must warn you, the Antivans will not consider the account viable if it contains less than 100 sovereigns. Please observe the utmost confidentiality. Yours, Lord Hawke Falk. So we have the typical make you larger junk mail, and now we have the typical what do they call it? Nigerian Prince email, I believe is what the scam is called. So nice little references there. Okay, a strange letter from Lothering. Hawke, heard you lot got to the free marches. Don't know why you'd bother, but I suppose it's better than Orlais. They got spiders up there? Big ones? Couldn't swing a dead cat round here without hitting a giant spider, but the blight drove him off. Maker. Dark days ahead. Mark my words. Man can't even cover his blighted land with poisoned traps. Old Barlin. And of course, remember that when in the original game, when we were in Lothering, everyone was asking for traps. Excuse me. We have a note addressed to Gamlin, strangely enough. Gamlin Amel. Payment is now 2 months late, Sirrah. Interest accrues, and as you are well aware, you will find yourself barred from our establishments unless payment is made. Think. No better card sharp or numbers runner in Kirkwall will deal with you. I certainly hope this matter is attended to before steps are taken. Let us avoid further unpleasantness. Garland. So, you'll notice that Gamlin is not in the estate, and it appears he's still getting letters because of his debts. So either Hawke has not offered to help him settle the debts, or, probably more likely, Gamlin is too stubborn to accept any aid. A message from Lothering. Dearest Leandra, I hope that you and the children are holding up. I'm so sorry about Carver. I remember the dear boy helping me trap rats in the cellar. The blight has taken too much from us. Thank the Maker for the hero of Ferelden and the Grey Wardens. Things are slowly getting back to normal in most parts of the country, but Lothering is gone for good. We had hoped to rebuild there, but the blight poisoned the land. It'll take decades for the earth to recover. It may never. Redcliffe is a nice place, and I'm starting to see it as home. The village saw some trouble during the blight, but it's recovering. Perhaps you could visit sometime. Please write me again, my dear. I wish to hear about your life in Kirkwall. Send my regrets and fond regards to the children. Your friend, Miriam. And last but not least, it's been a while, but here we go. we have family letters. Dear Oriana, and just in case that sounds a bit strange, remember that that's actually Hawke's first name that we chose. I hope this letter finds you well. My time in the Circle has been bearable, even after the Templars made a point of putting me through the harrowing as soon as I arrived. They thought I was at risk of possession or running away like father. Glad it's over with. I've started mentoring apprentices. I enjoy time with the children, teaching them basic spells. One of them, Ella, has taken a shine to me. Adorable. Life's not perfect here, mind you. The Templars are mostly polite, and I know they're just doing their jobs, but they hold extreme views. There's one creep named Sir Ulrich who likes harassing mages, but I'll steer clear of him. I'm doing fine. Please don't worry about me. With love, Bethany. So that took a while. I apologize, but it is nice that they follow up on a lot of plot threads that you had in Act 1, and we'll pretty much see the same thing when we go into Act 3. We also picked up some extra quests that we'll be taking care of. Also, you see that we got about 5 sovereigns worth of reward money. Oftentimes with side quests, you will receive your reward in the form of a letter, but you have to read the letter before you'll actually get the reward. Now, as the last step here, I'm just going to speak with what is currently our family, mother, daughter, and the family dog.
It's strange living here again. My childhood home, now owned by my child. It's not something I could have imagined when I was a little girl staring out this window. I'm still grateful you used your money from the expedition to buy back the estate. I feel like an Amel again.
I'm going to make the name Hawke one to be proud of in this city.
I don't doubt it. Your father would have said that, with that exact look too. I just wish we could all be together as a family one more time. I visited Bethany at the Circle, and she seems happy enough. I guess I just need to start picking you out a suitable husband.
Oh boy. I think when she finds out that Hawke has been flirting with Fenris, she may be a bit disappointed then.
I've been wondering if I shouldn't remarry. I'm sure the last thing you need is your mother watching over your shoulder every time you come home. But perhaps there is still life once your children have outgrown you.
You've been through a lot. You deserve any joy you can find.
Thank you, love. No one could ever replace your father. But it is refreshing to think I could still be courted at this age.
Yeah. Unfortunately, a lot of people may be coming after your money or your status, but, I'm sure it's possible.
Seneschal Bran has a son about your age.
Oh, there she goes again. Okay, we're gonna leave. Let's see. How's Loco doing?
I like the doggy. Ruff, ruff, ruff. Ruff, 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 ruff. Looks like they're having a nice chat. Maybe Sandal picked up some Mabari speak from our time at the Hero of Ferelden's camp.
Indeed, because we did see him in the last game talking with Vanguard, so maybe he does know how to speak to him. And of course, Mabari are supposed to be even more intelligent than kind of dogs in real life, so certainly possible. He doesn't want to be bothered anymore. Okay, so we're going to finally head out here, and what I'm going to do initially, before I actually make a party, because of course we can leave with as many members as we want, so I'm just going to leave on my own, and we're going to stop by pretty much everyone's home base and see how every companion's been doing. And I'm going to try to do it in the order that I picked them up originally. We'll see how it goes. So all I have to do is just confirm. You can leave with just yourself. And let's start with the Hangman, see what Varric's up to. We've already checked in on Aveline, so we won't need to go to check on her again yet. So at this point, I think if I do this, So if I do that, then... Yeah, that's kind of interesting. Seems a little bit strange to have her weapons out, so I think I'm going to temporarily take them off here. Oh, now she has crossed daggers. Okay, I guess there has to be some kind of weapon when she's around here. So we'll just go ahead and give her the bow here. Otherwise, because that's what she'd prefer as opposed to blades. Let's see, which one was it? Was it that one? Oh, no, I want that one because this is the one with the critical bonus. Okay. Okay, Isabella is here, and Varric is also up here. So we'll do Varric first. Hey, Varric, what's up?
Just tell me if you hear more rumblings from the coterie about protection. Blondie's got enough trouble. Let me ask you something, Hawke. You made it into Hightown. I'd expect anyone else to get complacent, but you must have plans.
No plans yet. I'm simply trying to look out for my mother.
After everything that happened with Bethany, that's probably good thinking. To be honest, I thought there might be a chance you'd want to go back to Ferelden now that things have calmed down. It's good to hear you're sticking around.
What would I do without my trusty dwarf? I'd cry myself to sleep without you.
Oh, don't get all teary-eyed on me, Hawke. You know I can't stand to see a human cry. So, we've got a whole city-state full of trouble to get into. Shall we get started?
It's nice to know Varric's still on board for a little adventure around here. Let's do a quick sweep of the area. As I mentioned before, when you're in a new act, oftentimes things will appear around that were previously not around. I'm not sure if that could get any more vague. Let's see over here. And it looks like mostly just random loot. But at least it's worth something, as far as cash goes. Ah, here's that chest.
That should do it.
The Imperial Chantry. So, also known as the Other Chantry, as some say. There are those who would tell you that the Chantry is the same everywhere as it is here, that the divine in Val Ryo reigns supreme in the eyes of the Maker, and that this fact is unquestioned throughout Thedas. Do not believe it. The Maker's second commandment, magic must serve man, not rule over him, never held the same meaning within the ancient Tevinter Imperium as it did elsewhere. The Chantry there interpreted the rule as meaning that mages should never control the minds of other men, and that otherwise their magic should benefit the rulers of men as much as possible. When the clerics of Tevinter altered the Chant of Light to reflect this interpretation of the commandment, the divine in Val Ryo ordered the clerics to revert to the original chant. They refused, claiming corruption within Val Ryo, an argument that grew until, in 487 Towers, the Chantry in Tevinter elected its own legitimate and uncorrupted divine Valhael, who is not only male, but also happened to be one of the most prominent members of the Tevinter Circle of Magi. This so-called Black Divine was reviled outside Tevinter, his existence an offense to the Chantry in Val Ryo. After 4 exalted marches to dislodge these rebels, all the Chantry in Val Ryo accomplished was to cement the separation. While most aspects of the Imperial Chantry's teachings are the same, prohibitions against magic have been weakened, and male priests have become more prevalent. The Circle of Magi today rules Tevinter directly, ever since Archon Normoran was elected in 734 Storm directly from the ranks of the enchanters, to great applause from the public. He dispensed with the old rules forbidding magic from taking part in politics, and within a century, the true rulers within the various imperial houses, the mages, took their places openly within the government. The Imperial Divine is now always drawn from the ranks of the First Enchanters, and operates as Divine and Grand Enchanter both. This is utter heresy to any member of the Chantry outside Tevinter, a return to the days of the Magisters, which brought the blights down upon us. But it exists, and even though we have left the Tevinter Imperium to the mercies of the dread Krunari, still they have endured. Further confrontation between the Black Divine and our so-called White Divine is inevitable. From Edicts of the Black Divine by Father David of Carinus, whatever, 811 Blessed. Yep. Now, of course, we've never actually seen any adherents to the Chantry of Tevinter.
Someone to sleep. I'm your man.
Hey, it's what's his name? Martin. Wonder how he's been doing in business. Yeah, so we've never seen anybody who adheres to the Imperial Chantry. It'd be interesting if we see some of that in the third game. Alright, we'll read that in a second. First, I'm going to talk to Martin.
Don't ingest the merchandise. It's not recommended.
Oh, yeah, Martin's Contraband. Yeah, he's opening up shop here. And he may not be in business if you don't help him, now that I think about it. But in any case, doesn't seem like he has any super good stuff, except maybe his poisons are the specialty here, so if you're more interested in that, this might be your place to shop. Maker's first children. This is also what's called the spirits, such as the Spirit of Justice that's currently hanging out in Anders. The Maker's first creations were the spirits, glorious beings that populated the many spires of the Golden City, and the Chant of Light says they revered the Maker with unquestioning devotion. The Maker, however, was dissatisfied. Although the spirits were like him in that they could manipulate the ether and create from it, they did not do so. They had no urge to create, and even when instructed to do so, possessed no imagination to give their creations ingenuity or life. The Maker realized his own folly. He had created the spirits to resemble him in all but the one and most important way. They did not have the spark of the divine within them. He expelled all the spirits out of the Golden City and into the Fade, and proceeded to his next creation, life. The Maker created the world and the living beings upon it, separated from the Fade by the veil. His new children would be unable to shape the world around them, and thus would need to struggle to survive. In return for their struggle, the Maker gave them the spark of the divine, a soul, and he watched with pleasure as his creations flourished and showed all the ingenuity that he had hoped for. The spirits grew jealous of the living and coaxed them into the Fade when they slept. The spirits wished to know more of life, hoping to find a way to regain the Maker's favor. Through the eyes of the living, they experienced new concepts: love, fear, pain, and hope. The spirits reshaped the Fade to resemble the lives and concepts that they saw, each spirit desperately trying to bring the most dreamers to their own realm so they could vicariously possess a spark of the divine through them. As the spirits grew in power, however, some of them became contemptuous of the living. These were the spirits that saw the darkest parts of the dreamers. Their lands were places of torment and horror, and they knew that the living were strongly drawn to places that mirrored those dark parts of themselves. These spirits questioned the Maker's wisdom and proclaimed the living inferior. They learned from the darkness and saw and became the first demons: rage, hunger, sloth, desire, pride. These are the dark parts of the soul that give demons their power, the hooks they use to claw their way into the world of the living. It was demons that whispered into the minds of men, convincing them to turn from the Maker and worship false gods. They seek to possess all life as their due, forging kingdoms of nightmare in the Fade, in hopes of one day storming the walls of heaven itself. And the Maker despaired once again, for he had given the power of creation to his new children, and in return they had created sin. So this is from Baden, Senior Enchanter of Ostwick, 812 Blessed. That's pretty recent for a historical book. The overall lore about the demons and the spirits and Fade stuff I've always found pretty interesting personally. I think it was pretty creative in its structure. Might give a lot of support to what happens supposedly in the third game, I think. Sir Roderick? He's the only named person here besides Isabella.
Anyone knows Karen? Has he done anything wrong?
Name doesn't immediately ring a bell. But you look drunk. Hey, Isabella.
Isabella, you look well.
Are you talking about the flush on my cheeks? It must be the whiskey. Do you remember the relic I told you about? The one I need to find? I've been following a lead. I'm so close I can taste it.
Isn't that what you said last time?
Oh, you mean when I went digging for that stash?
Yes. That turned out to contain several badly written poems and an old boot.
It could have contained the relic. I just thought I'd let you know that I may soon be taking you up on that offer of help.
You can count on me.
Thanks. I appreciate it. If I learn anything new, you'll be the first to hear about it.
She is still looking for that relic. Oh, is there someone... Oh, Isabella has more than one thing to say, apparently. Okay.